Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
हरे कृष्णा माता जी प्रणाम। आप कीर्तन कर रहे हैं माता जी?
Yes, Prabhuji, yes. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatadishatarine Jayo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. टैगोर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। जगत गुरु शिला प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय।
Hare Krishna Mataji, Pranam. Thank you
हरे
so
कृष्ण।
much for the Kirtan, wonderful Kirtan. Hare Krishna and Pranam, your devotees. So welcome to our Srimad Bhagavatam reading sessions. So let us see what are the results of yesterday's session. I posted the link in the chat. You are requested to attempt the quiz in the meanwhile. So total 4 members have attempted out of 12. So Atul Prabhu, all correct. Number 1 position, Anshi Mataji, second position, Anupama Saini Mataji, third, and Namrasita Mataji, do galat ho gaye. Fourth. Thank you so much. Let us refresh and see. Okay, so more members are attempting the quiz. So let us begin with our reading of Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swabhiniti Namane. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshatarine. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Sadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. So we are reading from first canto, 10th chapter. And so अभी तक हमने पढ़ा कि जो लास्ट चैप्टर में भीष्म देव he leaves and he instructs Maharaj Yudhishthir, and then he leaves his body, and after that Yudhishthir Maharaj is established as the king. And after that, in this chapter we have understood about that after Yudhishthir Maharaj has overtaken as the king, so there is prosperity in the kingdom, and there everything is very much opulent. There is no lack of any resources. And so we are reading further from 1 and 6 today. Devotees who want to read, they can raise their hand. Nadhyo vyadhaya kleshad deve bhutatma hetavah ajat shatrav abhavan jantu nam rajni karvijit. And before, so Girash Prabhu is not available today, so that is why. So we will read together. Synonyms: na, never, adhyav, anxieties, vyadhav, diseases, kalesha, trouble due to excessive heat and cold, deva bhuta atma, all due to the body, supernatural power and other living beings, hetava, due to cause of ajata shatru, unto one who has no enemy, abhavan, happened, jantu naam, of the living beings, rajni, ragi, uh, unto the king, karhichik, at any time. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, which Arvind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Because of the kings having no enemy, the living beings were not at any time disturbed by mental agonies, diseases, or excessive heat or cold. Purport: to be non-violent to human beings and to be killer or enemy of the poor animals is Satan's philosophy. In this age, there is enmity towards poor animals, and therefore the poor creatures are always anxious. The reaction of the poor animal is being forced on the human society, and therefore there is always the strain of cold or hot war between men, individually, collectively, or nationally. तो ये हमने लास्ट पर्पट में भी पढ़ा था कल that it is the duty of the king to not only protect the human population but also the animals also, those who cannot defend themselves. Praja. So praja means anybody who takes birth in the kingdom. So even all the human beings also and even the animals also, they are all praja. And it is the duty of the king, rightful king, to protect it. And when they are not able to, and when they are not able to do that, then because the animals are being slaughtered at a mass scale, the reaction of the same thing is put upon everybody on the whole planet suffers. Similarly, we take the example of COVID. So why does it happen? It is because, and also different wars also. There are different ongoing geographical wars going on in all over the planet at various places, Middle East and Russia, Ukraine, and many such other instances. So this is happening because uh, one of the reasons is that the poor animals are being forced and slaughtered forcefully, and the reaction is being suffered by the humanity at large. At the time of Maharaj Yudhishthir, there were no different nations, although there were different subordinate states. The whole world was united, and the supreme head, being a trained king like Yudhishthir, kept all the inhabitants free from anxiety, disease, and excessive heat and cold. They were not only economically well-to-do, but also physically fit and undisturbed by supernatural power, by enmity from other living beings, and by disturbance of bodily and mental agonies. There is a proverb in Bengali that a bad king spoils the kingdom and a bad housewife spoils the family. This truth is applicable here also, because the king was pious and obedient to the Lord and sages, because he was no one's enemy, and because he was a recognized agent of the Lord and therefore protected by him. All the citizens under the king's protection were, so to speak, directly protected by the Lord and his authorized agents. Unless one is pious and recognized by the Lord, he cannot make others happy who are under his care. There is full, so that is why all the kings, they are the servants of the Lord. They are not the servants of the so-called people. जैसे हम last puppets में पीछे आता है that because the Vedic the Vedic way does not approve of the democratic way of how the governments are elected. The Vedic way would be that the kings, the rightful king would be there, who is a representative of the Lord and a bona fide representative, and he would be guided by the Brahmins and those who are learned and who knows what is right and what is wrong, and they would be guided by the council of ministers, not in a way that right now that we have that anybody who is powerful and who is an influencer, they can get elected to the government. And what will an unqualified people will elect? Unqualified people will only elect unqualified person. That is why unqualified leaders are there, who are running the administration and as well as the country, and they themselves they do not know how to guide, and they cannot they are not neither the rightful or the recognized agents of the Lord, and nor do they know what is better for the people, and neither they can make anybody happy. They try to do, but they are so much influenced by their own self-centered thing. They it is just not possible for the society to be peaceful and happy under their reign. It is only by the leaders who are Krishna conscious that is possible. There is full cooperation between man and God and man and nature. And this conscious cooperation between man and God and man and nature, as exemplified by King Yudhishthir, can bring about happiness. Okay. There is full cooperation between man and God and man and nature. And this conscious cooperation between man and God and man and nature, as exemplified by King Yudhishthir, can bring about happiness, peace, prosperity in the world. The attitude of exploiting one another, the custom of the day, will only bring misery. And that we can see very effectively in our day-to-day outside world, that what is happening in society at large. There is so much unrest, um, different agendas. People are, the leaders are having different agendas. Their own self-centered agendas are there because they just want to retain the power. And for that, they can even make hostilities between different communities on the basis of religion, on the basis of caste, or whatever we can say. Uh, but because it is not centered around Krishna, or that is why there is no conscious cooperation between them and between us, like that, and that is only bringing misery, and there is very much lack of happiness, peace, and prosperity. So, Anandilasini Mataji. Mataji is also here. Mataji, if you want to add, you can add in between if there is anything else.
No, Prabhuji, it's okay, Prabhuji.
So Mataji can read. You can read.
Yes, Prabhuji. Text 7. उषित्वा हस्तिनापुरे मासान् कतिपायन हरि दूरिदं च विशोकाय स्वसुश्च प्रिय काम्यया. Synonyms. Ushitva, staying. Hastinapure, in the city of Hastinapur. Mashan, months. Kathipayan, a few. Hari, Lord Shri Krishna. Suridam, relatives. Cha, also. Vishokaya, for pacifying them. Vyashu, Swashu, the sister. Cha, and Priya, Kamyaya, for pleasing. Translation. Sri Hari, Lord Shri Krishna, resided at Hastinapur for a few months to pacify his relatives and please his own sister Subhadra. Purport. Krishna was to start for Dwarka, his own kingdom, after the battle of Kurukshetra and Yudhishthir's being enthroned, but to oblige the request of Maharaj Yudhishthir and to show special mercy to Bhishmadev, Lord Krishna stopped at Hastinapur, the capital of the Pandavas. The Lord decided to stay specially to pacify the aggrieved king as well as to please Subhadra, sister of Lord Sri Krishna. Subhadra was specially to be pacified because she lost her only son Abhimanyu, who was just married. The boy left his wife Uttara, mother of Maharaj Parikshit. The Lord is always pleased to satisfy his devotees in any capacity. Only his devotees can play the parts of his relatives. The Lord is absolute.
You can continue, Madam.
Okay. Text 8. आमन्त्रय चाभ्यनुज्ञात परिष्वज्याभिवादयतम् अरुरोह रथम् कश्चित् परिष्वक्तो अभिवादित. Synonyms. Amantraya, taking permission. Cha, and. Abhyanugyatah, being permitted. Parishvajya, embracing. Abhivadya, bowing down at the feet. Tam, unto Maharaj Yudhishthir. Aruroha, ascended. Ratham, the chariot.
Kaschit, by someone. Parishvaktah, being embraced. Abhivaditah, being offered obeisances. Translation. Afterwards, when the Lord asked permission to depart and the king gave it, the Lord offered his respect to Maharaj Yudhishthir by bowing down at his feet, and the king embraced him. After this, the Lord, being embraced by others and receiving their obeisances, got into his chariot. Purport. Maharaj Yudhishthir was the elder cousin of Lord Krishna, and therefore Maharaj Yudhishthir was the elder cousin of Lord Krishna, and therefore, while departing from him, the Lord bowed down at the king's feet. The king embraced him as a younger brother, although the king knew perfectly well that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. The Lord takes pleasure when some of his devotees accept him as less important in terms of love. No one is greater than or equal to the Lord, but he takes pleasure in being treated as younger than his devotees. These are all transcendental pastimes of the Lord. The impersonalist cannot enter into the supernatural roles played by the devotees of the Lord. Therefore, Bhishma and Arjun embraced the Lord because they were at the same age, but Nakula and Sahadev bowed down before the Lord because they were younger than he.
Yes. So here, like Prabhupada is very nicely explaining that, like somebody may question that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, and why is he bowing down at the um, Maharaj Yudhishthir, King Yudhishthir? It is it is not that the Yudhishthir Maharaj did not know that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, but because they are playing different roles, and these are all transcendental passings of the Lord, so there should not be any kind of rasabhas, because the king is elder, and the Lord is younger, and they are playing a role. And also we can see the example of uh, Lord's mother and father, है ना, Yashoda Maya and Nand Baba, Nand Maharaj, that Nand Maharaj would say, Krishna, bring my Charan Paduka, and Krishna would um, very happily take that the footwears, and he would keep it on his head, and he would bring. That does not mean that the Lord becomes uh, um, what do we say? The Lord becomes lower than the devotees, but he out of loving exchange he accepts those relationships, and that can only happen within his devotees. Similarly, these exchanges are also happening within the devotees of the Lord, and he takes pleasure. Similarly, he took pleasure in becoming the Sarthi of Arjun, and as a Sarthi's job is very difficult, where the one who is at the backseat of the chariot, he has to guide the Sarthi by kicking sometimes, and then Arjun would kick the Lord to go left or go right, and in that way, but the Lord is taking pleasure in doing that. He is having those loving exchanges between the devotees. So that is the transcendental pastime of the Lord. Ankur Prabhu, you can read.
जी प्रभु जी। सुभद्रा द्रौपदी कुंती विराट तनया तथा गांधारी धृतराष्ट्रश्च युयुत्सुर्गोत्तमो यमो वृकोदरश्च धौम्यश्च स्त्रियो मत्स्यसुतादय न सेहिरे विमुह्यन्तो विरहं शारङ्गधन्वनः। Translation. Synonyms. Subhadra, the sister of Krishna. Draupadi, the wife of Pandavas. Kunti, the mother of Pandavas. Virat Tanaya, the daughter of Virat, Uttara. Tatha, also Gandhari, the mother of Duryodhan. Dhritarashtra, the father of Duryodhan. Cha, and Yuyutsaha, the son of Dhritarashtra by his Vaishya wife. Gautama, Kripacharya, Yamau, the twin brothers Nakula and Sahadev, Vrikodara, Bhim, Cha, and Dhaumya, Cha, and Striya, also other ladies of the palace. Matsya Sutta Adaya, the daughter of a fisherman, Satyavati, Bhishma's stepmother. na could not sahir, tolerate, vimuyanta, almost fainting, viraham, separation, sarang dhanvana of Sri Krishna, who bears a conch in his hand. Translation. At that time, Subhadra, Draupadi, Kunti, Uttara, Gandhari, Dhritarashtra, Yuyutsu, Kripacharya, Nakul, Sahadev, Bhimsen, Dhaumya, and Satyavati all nearly fainted because it was impossible for them to bear separation from Lord Krishna. Purport. Lord Sri Krishna is so attractive for the living beings, especially for the devotees, that it is impossible for them to tolerate separation. The conditioned soul, under the spell of illusory energy, forgets the Lord. Otherwise, he cannot. The feeling of such separation cannot be described, but it can simply be imagined by devotees only. After his separation from Vrindavan and the innocent rural cowherd boys, girls, ladies, and others, they all felt shock throughout their lives. And the separation of Radharani, the most beloved cowherd girl, is beyond expression. Once they met at Kurukshetra during a solar eclipse, and the feeling which was expressed by them is heartrending. There is, of course, a difference in the qualities of the transcendental devotees of the Lord, but none of them who have ever contacted the Lord by direct communion or otherwise can leave him for a moment. That is the attitude of the pure devotee.
Hare Krishna.
यहाँ पे जी I was about to ask that it is also mentioned that Dhritarashtra was about to faint. I mean,
Yeah.
so it indicates that gradually, maybe after the war and after those incidents, he also became a, if not a devotee, but he also started loving Krishna to that extent. Or I don't know, I mean, how to say it, but
Gira Show is also here. So Prabhuji can answer.
क्या है प्रभु जी इसमें लिखा हुआ कि he loves Hare Krishna. He is writing Dhritarashtra also fainted.
Yes. Prabhuji.
yes. So maybe I can read the translation quickly again, just the translation. At the time, Subhadra, Draupadi, Kunti, Uttara, Gandhari, Dhritarashtra, Yuyutsu, Kripacharya, Nakul, Sahadev, Bhimsen, Dhaumya, and Satyavati all nearly fainted because it was impossible for them to bear separation from Lord Krishna. तो यहाँ पे गांधारी जी का और धृतराष्ट्र का दोनों का नाम भी आया है प्रभु
Kripacharya also.
एंड कृपाचार्य ऑल्सो
Yes, true. So he had affection. I mean, I don't know too much detail about myself also. Did he had a change of heart? I don't think so. He had any great change of heart. Actually, Dhritarashtra's main problem was attachment to his son. His whole, it was Duryodhan who was envious of Krishna, not so much Dhritarashtra. But he won't listen to anybody because of his attachment with his son, who was, very envious towards Pandavas. Like this. So, Dhritarashtra and Gandhari, they had affection for Krishna, sure, So, but their attachment for their own son overpowered it when, like that, when Duryodhana was there. That is, I mean, that is what comes to my mind. That's it.
Ji, yeah, sure. Ji, makes sense, Prabhuji.
And he was their relative also. You understand? They were bound in relations also, and they had affection for Krishna, but he had more attachment to his son. That his whole problem was son.
Right.
And that thing that he wanted his son to become the Samrat, not the Pandit. And he had nothing to do with Yadus. Yadus were dear relatives like this.
Right. Ji, Prabhu.
Rest, I don't want to speculate. I don't.
No, but it makes sense, a lot of sense. Ji. जी रोनी प्रभु जी। सत्संगा सत्संगान्मुक्तदु संगो हातुम नोत्सहते बुध कीर्त्यमानं यशो यस्य सत्कृदा कर्ण्यरोचनम् तस्मिन्यस्तदीयः पार्था सहेरनविरहं कथम दर्शन स्पर्शन सल्लापशयन आसन भोजने Satsangat by the association of pure devotees. Mukta Duh Sangha, freed from bad materialistic association. Hatum, to give up. Na Utsahate, never attempts. Buddha, one who has understood the Lord. Ki- Kirtya Manam, glorifying. Yasha, fame. Yasya, whose. Sakrit, once only. Akarnya, hearing only. Rochanam, pleasing. Tasmin, unto him. Nyasta diha, diyah, one who has given his mind unto him. Partha, the son of Pritha. Sahiran, can tolerate. Viraham, separation. Katham, how. Darshana, seeing face to face. Sparsh, touching. Samlapa, conversing. Shayana, sleeping. Asana, sitting. Bhojanai, dining together. Translation. The intelligent who have understood the Supreme Lord in association with pure devotees and have become freed from bad materialistic association can never avoid hearing the glories of the Lord, even though they have heard them only once. How then could the Pandavas tolerate his separation? For they had been intimately associated with his person, seeing him face to face, touching him, conversing with him, and sleeping, sitting, and dining with him. Purport. The living being's constitutional position is one of serving a superior. He is obliged to serve by force the dictates of illusory material energy in different phases of sense gratification. And in serving the senses, he is never tired. Even though he may be tired, the illusory energy perpetually forces him to do so without being satisfied. There is no end to such sense gratificatory business, and the conditioned soul becomes entangled in such servitude without hope of release. The release is only effected by association with pure devotees. By such association, one is gradually promoted to his transcendental consciousness. Thus, he can know that his eternal position is to render service unto the Lord and not to the perverted senses in the capacity of lust, anger, desire to lord it over, etc. Material society, friendship, and love are all different phases of lust. Home, country, family, society, wealth, and all sorts of corollaries are all causes of bondage in the material world, where the threefold miseries of life are con- concomitant factors. By associating with pure devotees and by hearing them submissively, attachment for material enjoyment becomes slackened, and attraction for hearing about the transcendental activities of the Lord becomes prominent. Once they are, they will go on progressively without stoppage, like fire in gunpowder. It is said that Hari, the personality of Godhead, is so transcendently attractive that even those who are self satisfied by self realization and are factually liberated from all material bondage also become devotees of the Lord. Under these circumstances, it is easily understood what must have been the position of Pandavas, who were constant companions of the Lord. They could not even think of separation from Sri Krishna, since the attraction was more intense for them because of continuous personal contact. His remembrance by his form, quality, name, fame, pastimes, etc., is also attractive for the pure devotee. So much so that he forgets all forms, quality, name, fame, and activities of the mundane world. And due to his mature association with pure devotees, he is not out of contact with the Lord for a moment.
Thank you, Prabhu. Girashu.
So we can see our condition that how much we are, attracted by the mundane thing and how much we are attracted by Krishna. So ye hamisha याद रखिए, all these things are to be seen for ourselves and not try to see on others that what is my state of heart, where is my attachment, attraction lies. Yes.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much for joining. So our time is also up. So we will end the session over here. And if anybody has any question or any comment, then Girashu can take it up. Okay. No comments. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. So we'll end the session over here. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Bhagavani Pacharya Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschate Veshitarame Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vevacha Paridanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Granth Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. So we'll meet tomorrow. Same time.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I've been missing a lot of quiz wala thing, So can I get a link to that, please?
Yeah, I've just posted. I will also post on the personally to you, Mataji.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.